Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Untethered Live Politi-tics on a Saturday. I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and joining me is the Bandhammer.
Howdy, Untethered Live.
Howdy, Bandhammer. What's cooking in your kitchen tonight?
Nothing now. We already ate pizza, though.
Yeah, pizza. Good pizza. Delicious. It was lovely. It's been a good day. Got some work done on the bike. Got the old welding machine out. Pitter-patter. Got her done. Got some more stuff done anyway. Not finished, but halfway there. All good stuff, though. Good to report.
She's going back together. That's all that
She's
matters.
going back together. Who's with me in the chat? Debbie's first in chat. Whoa. That's new. Debbie, you get a gold star for being first in chat. She says, howdy, all y'all. Hamburger upper hand. Hi. How are you? What's going on?
Debbie, here's your gold star and hamburger upper hand, Debbie. And
How about them apples?
Hi, Untethered Live family. Good to see y'all. I hope everyone had a good day. Hiya, Jake.
Camel.
You and that damn camel.
Camel. I like camels. They're cool, like Joe. I had a camel named Joe once. It was a awful habit. Delicious, though. Turkish. He wore sunglasses, and every now and then would give me a jacket if I saved enough of his tops.
Right.
Anyway, how are you?
Good. Or a lighter or whatever.
That's right. Amy's here. She says, Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Yes. There will be wars and rumors of wars, and they will cry, peace, 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 but there will be no peace. Don't let that worry you, though. As long as they're fighting, the end isn't here yet. When they stop fighting because they've all been beaten, that's when you need to start worrying. So you're good.
Hamburger upper hand, Amy.
Hi, Amy. How are you? Hope you're doing well today. Amy says, hi, Debbie, Jake, and Amanda. Linda's here. She says, hi, Debbie, Jake, and Amanda, and Amy. Hey, Linda, how are you?
Hamburger upper hand, Linda.
Nice to see you. That's a good, soothing throat cup of coffee right there. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Don't y'all want to have a cup with me? If so, go to the kitchen, pour yourself up a nice hot cup of coffee, and let's get after it like we should. If you don't have a cup, though, you get one in the description below. I recommend the first one. It has my face on it. It is fantastic. You'll love it. Looks great on your coffee table, and it'll leave a mark if you chuck it at somebody. So get one while you can. Like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box. If you want to show a little bit of love, if you want to... BJ. Wow, that's loud. You can do that at CashApp $JakeJohnsonBand or PayPal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. It's easy, and it helps me out with the motorcycle. So I do appreciate that very much. And one last thing. If you would like to hang out with us outside of the YouTuberverse, somewhere over there, go to Facebook.com/UntetheredLive chilling. The link is in the chat. It's a great place to hang out, share pictures, text videos, memes, and get to know each other. And there's a private chat over there so that you can chat privately. So go over there and privately chat privately over there. And also, there are videos over there that are updated on the regular, on the DL, on the QT.
I put Jake's photo shoot album up on there today, too.
Did you really?
In the chat.
Which one?
The photo shoot.
Which one?
The professional photo shoot.
Which one?
The one with the guitar and the mic stand and
okay.
smoke.
Yeah,
and...
Erica Letchworth photo album. Okay.
I don't know who did it.
Yeah, I have many of those. Two of the top ones is Charlie and Erica.
And the one that I have. That's the only one that I have.
Charlie Franks and Erica Letchworth are two photographers that did my work most recently, but there are others in the works. Anyway, thank you for that. And if you guys enjoy it, just leave a like or leave a comment or say whatever nasty thing you want to say or whatever it is. I'll accept all voices. Anyway, follow the link. Watch the videos. They're fun. They're entertaining. They're free. They're yours. They're over there. Go private chat over there about them. Anyway, moving on. Here's the link, by the way, if anybody wants to check that out. Purple Penguin. Hello, Purple Penguin. Welcome to the show. Who are you? Where are you from? And Oh, you're from Australia. Good day, from Australia.
Australia.
G'day, Australia. Nice to see you. Ate any shrimp lately? I don't know anything about Australia other than spiders and shrimp. Oh, and coral reefs and surfing and blonde hair and Crocodile Dundee. It turns out I know a lot about Australia. Welcome to the show.
A lot more than you thought, anyway, huh?
All right. I apologize for the voice cutting in and out. It'll loosen up directly and start working. I've been sleeping a lot the last 10 minutes, so it takes a minute to get going. Amber's here. She says, good evening, friends. A surprised heart terrified of a hamburger helper hand. Hello, Amber. And Linda says, hi, Miss Amber. And Amanda says,
hi, Penguin, welcome. And hamburger helper hand, Amber.
Or-
Blah, 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 blah.
black, as we call it. It's hard to say that. Try it. You'll like it. It don't fit on your tongue very well.
No, it doesn't. And don't try to say it 3 times fast.
Yeah. That's Amber hamburger helper hand. Try to say that. I dare you to say it without going hamburger.
Right.
So we just, Amblah for short. Amy says, liked and shared. Thank you. Yes. And invited some friends. All right. Good girl. Judy, did you see it? Did you see it this time, Judy?
Yeah, she's, oh.
I can show it to you now, the intro of this show, which is different than the other two. I couldn't show it to you last night because it wasn't queued up, but now it is. So if you didn't see it, I will play it for you. It's a nice one. I like it. It's my favorite.
I think Politi-tics. I like Politi-tics.
This is Politi-tics.
I mean, hyperbole.
Hyperbole. Mine's easy. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah.
Yeah, she saw it. Judy hamburger helper hand.
Judy says, hey, Jake and Amanda. Hi. Hi. Linda says, hi, Judy hamburger helper hand. Judy says, hey, Debbie Wiener. And hey, Amy, and hey, Linda. Amy says, Jake, I need to brush up on the Bible verses that explains the threesome in the Garden of Eden. That's in Genesis, first page. Can't miss it. People don't believe me when I say it. I can't remember the verses, and I've tagged your Bible study. Well, thank you. And yes, people will have a trouble with that one because everything that is taught about Christianity in modern times is very puritanical in its thinking, and they don't like to talk about sex because that gives a bad idea or something. I don't know. But it is all over Genesis. All you have to do is read it. It says it right there in the line, what they did. It doesn't say the words, but it says words that mean that. You look for the seed, ask them where seed comes from when talking about a man and a woman. When God says, I will put enmity between thy seed and her seed, ask them what he's talking about there. What does that mean? What seed from the serpent would possibly be in the woman? How would it get there?
He didn't just throw it on her.
And also, the very next thing is talking about her giving birth to children. And the word again is used when bearing child. She bore Cain. I have a man from the Lord, not from God, from the Lord, which is also a word Baal in another language. So, and then again, she bore Abel in the same birthing process. So that she had twins, and those are paternal twins, meaning they had the same mother but separate fathers, which is doable. It's not very likely today because we're a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. But back then when DNA was perfect, they did it all the time. And dogs still do it to this day, but their gene pool is much shorter than ours, and they still can do things like that. Parthenogenesis and the like. And also, look where it says that the serpent wholly seduced Eve. The word is expatio in your Strong's Concordance, and it means to completely seduce sexually. There you go. I don't know what else to tell you. That's what they did. They had sex. And it says that Adam joined them. So he did it too. Right? Also, it'll tell you that Adam knew full well what he was doing, but he did it anyway. Eve was actually tricked, so she's a little less to blame because she got tricked into it. But Adam knew what was going on, and he still did it. That's why they both got punished. And also, you can ask your friends that don't believe you, if they ate an apple, why did they cover their private parts with fig leaves? Why didn't they cover their mouth where the sin took place? Why did they cover their junk with fig leaves?
Where was the apple in the Garden of Eden?
Yeah, apples don't grow in that region of the world, so it's not an apple. Occam's razor is the simplest answer is the right answer. They had sex, and then they got caught, and they covered themselves because they were dirty.
And sticky.
And God would have noticed. Hope that helps. Maybe it's Maybelline. Hey, Mabel. Mabel says, ciao, everybody. Jake and Amanda, how are you? Fantastic. It's been a good day.
Yes.
Nice and easy. Easy like Sunday morning, but on Saturday.
All right. Got some relaxing cuddles in, got some little bit of chores done, and got some of the bike put back together, and got dinner and shower, and now I'm resting.
Yeah. Judy says, yeah, thanks, Amanda. Amy says, Linda, cookie, wave your hand. Amy says, Judy, wave your hand.
Hamburger helper hand, Mabel.
Yeah, that's better. Judy says, hey, purple. Yeah, purple. We don't have a purple.
I know.
It's nice to have one.
I seen that. I'm like, uh-oh, somebody trying to get my email address.
Right. You're not the only one that uses the word purple.
I know.
Linda says, Mabel, hamburger upper hand. I just bumped my cigarette into my cup of coffee and broke it.
Nice when you learn how.
You'd think I'd be an expert.
You think you know where that cup of coffee was sitting.
Right here. Anyway. Chat jump.
8:38.
8:38?
Yeah.
Must have jumped backwards.
You hit it when you broke your cigarette, probably.
Probably. Amy says, Judy, wave your hand. Amanda says, Mabel, hamburger upper hand. Judy says, hey, purple. There we were. That's where we were. Linda says, Mabel, hamburger upper hand. Amy says, Amber, kissy face and wave your hand. Amy says, purple penguin, welcome. Please like and subscribe. That don't go as well as purple rain, but I tried. Amy says, hi, Mabel, wave your hand. And Judy says, hey, Amber, Mabel, and Hannah. The Thought Live says, yo, I love your name. It says the Troth Live. The Troth Live? The Troth Live? The Tro Live? What do you say? How do you say that? The True Live? I like it, though. The True Live. The Tro Live. The Troth Live.
Trough, probably.
The Troth Live. The Trough Live?
Speaking, I think that's a pig in this picture.
Trough.
And that's what I said, the trough.
Got to be a trough, then.
I think it's a pig.
Amy says, the Trough Love. Welcome, live. Welcome. Please like and subscribe. Yes, please do. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot, and you'll enjoy the night. So come on in.
Yes. The Trough Live.
And we're about to get crazy up in here. I'm going to be naked, and it's going to be a whole thing.
Uh-oh.
And Judy says, yes, I did. Thanks. You're welcome. I'll show it to you anyway. Yeah, that's it. I had to glue my teeth in, so that was a perfect little exit. Amy says, be right back. Making Reese's hot chocolate. Ooh. Yeah. Is that like just boil hot water and put Reese's pieces in it? Till it looks like chocolate?
No, it's packet chocolate.
I bet it's good.
It is.
I like Reese's. Reese's, not Reese's. Amy says, I've been fighting the headache all day. That's why God made goodies.
Yeah. And
you don't have a camera. Nah.
goodies and Imitrex. I couldn't think of what they were.
Imitrex. John's here. He says, good evening, family. Mr. John, nice to see you. Big Bad Nugget.
Hamburger Helper Hand Nugget. Hope you had a good birthday.
Yeah, how was your birthday? What did Santa Claus bring you? Or whoever does the birthdays?
Did you get a speeding ticket on your little rally there?
Speeding ticket on a walker. Amanda says, Nugget Hamburger Upper Hand. Amy says, Big John, Nugget, happy birthday. Linda says, Nugget Hamburger Upper Hand. Amy says, thank you, Jake. My pleasure. I hope I can help. Let me give it a little time to think about it, and I'll find some references. Linda says, happy birthday, Nugget. Amy says, I took notes. I appreciate it. My pleasure. Judy says, hey, Nugget, happy birthday. Look at Nugget getting all the attention. Robert Mueller died today. I don't think it was today. Remember him? Russia. I do. He was the guy that did the special counsel and ultimately found Trump not guilty of no crimes because he didn't do anything. And everything they said about him was a lie. Robert Mueller is a Republican, was a Republican, and he served his country well by, coming up with the right answer. I just wish it didn't take him 2 years to do it, which pretty much ate up all of his first administration, or at least half of it. Anyway, rest in peace, Robert Mueller. Also, Chuck Norris won the longest sleeping competition the other day.
Yeah.
He's about to take home the gold.
Yep, he died Thursday.
It's a day for it. It's a week for it. Judy says, hey, Trough. I gotta say Trough. John says, thanks, everyone, for the birthday wishes. I've been busy today, DJing for 4 hours straight and chatting to friends, so all is good. That's fantastic.
Woohoo.
Are you getting paid to DJ, or are you just doing it for fun? Are you like at a gig? Amy says, Imitrex is prescription only. Yes, it is. Mabel says, I thought I went back in time. I see the intro, and I'm like, oops, I must have hit rewind, and then hit skip to live, and it's the intro. I'm like, wait, what? Too tired. Yeah, I was just showing it to Judy because she hadn't seen all the intros before. So I showed her a couple of the other shows last night. I showed her this one tonight.
And yes, it is. I have the pills and injections, and I take Emgality injections once a month.
Emgality, which sounds like you're saying it wrong.
I'm not.
I said it sounds like you're saying it wrong.
It's Emgality. Boy, good almighty.
Which sounds like you're
work.
saying it wrong. That's not how letters work.
I love it.
But that's what they named it, so.
That's how it's spelled.
No, it isn't.
E-M-G-A.
Emgality starts with an M.
Emgality.
There you go. That's not how letters work. That's why it sounds like you're saying it wrong, but it isn't. It looks right, but it sounds wrong.
I love it.
For those of you that speak phonetically.
Okay, English professor. LOL, Mabel.
Yeah. John says, I'm at home peeing in the neighbor. I'm pissing the neighbors off. Okay.
Well, why'd you want to do that?
I say crank it up.
Right?
Some bitches ain't got no business
If it's
worrying about you.
If it's too loud, they're too old.
That's right. If I'm too loud, you're too old. That's my motto. I play with big speakers, by the way, and a full drum set and a full bass player and all that good stuff at my house. And my neighbors, they have one choice. That's pull up on a golf cart and watch, because that's not going to stop me if they call the cops.
Or stay the hell out of our business.
That's right. They usually do the first. They usually pull up on a golf cart and listen.
And then when we're out in the yard or whatever, we'll plug in the phone or whatever to the stage speakers out in the music room and listen all across the yard.
Hey, I got a nice big old stereo I just brought back to life. A big old one from the 90s, you know, with the lights on it and the 5 CD disc changer and the big dual speakers on each side and the subwoofers. And yeah, it sounds good too.
It sounds pretty good, yeah. Need to bring it in the house.
No.
Yes.
That's a shop radio.
No, it's not. It's a house radio.
Well, I'll tell you what my mother used to tell me. Hold your hands like this.
No.
Want in one hand and shit in the other one and see which one gets full fastest.
We're in the house more than we're out there. I could bring it in when you're at work.
You touch my radio and you're going to get a shock.
No, it's bigger than a boombox, and it's one of them
It's
small
a stereo.
home stereo systems.
And it's like, I don't know, 4 feet wide altogether. It's got big speakers, big gaudy looking speakers. They got a speaker and then a speaker on top of the speaker. So it's got like the subwoofer built into the cabinet, if that makes sense. And it's got the big display on the front with the dual cassette decks and the 5 CD disc changer and the radio part and the equalizer and the whole 9 yards. And I think it has, I don't think it has a record player on top.
No, just the
It
CD
might have
changer.
a connector for it and put an extra piece on top, but I don't think it has it. But anyway, it's pretty big and it sounds great and it's loud. Yeah. Amy says, it was summer like here today. It was summer like here today, so I put on sundresses. Nice. Were you doing a little twirly? Showing your legs off? That's nice. I think women ought to be required to wear sundresses. Just feels better.
To you.
Well, yeah, I'm the one that has to look at it. If I got to look at it, I'd prefer to enjoy what I see. Amanda says,
It was 80s here today. It's 70s now.
I know I was sweating beads when I was out there working on that tire. It's dripping off my head. Judy says it's 54 here today. Nice. John says stereo MIDI system.
Yes.
It does not have MIDI capabilities, no. But it is a stereo system. Judy says it's 40 now. Well, it's cooling off. It's dark.
Is your snow melting good there, Judy?
Probably not for a couple of weeks. Takes a while for snow to start melting.
Yeah, I bet.
Even if it's nice and hot, it takes it a minute to get going if it's thick. If it's just on the ground like a foot, it'll melt right away. But if it's pretty thick, it takes a few weeks.
Yeah, no, she was getting feet at a time.
Mm-hmm. Judy says, yes, it is, but we still have a decent amount left. Right on. Amy says, I had to decide if I wanted to shave the Sasquatch hair on my legs and donate it to the squirrels for a nest or braid it. Good gracious.
Wow.
Shave that puppy.
I would invest in a women's electric razor.
I would invest in a herd of Mexicans and clippers. So am I. Yeah, buddy. I haven't shaved my legs in a long time, if ever. Judy says, LOL, Amy. And some people like Sasquatches, though. So there's that. You find you a feller that likes to knock in the woods and listen.
I just shaved mine tonight, so I can't say nothing.
Dreadlock, says John. Yes. Gets the beeswax out and gets to twisting. I came that close to doing my hair in dreads once. I almost did it. But ultimately, I changed my mind because you can't take it out. And it's there until it grows out. And you can't wash it, so it's going to stink after a while.
I mean, you can wash them, but you're only supposed to wash them like once or twice a year.
So I decided that the amount of time that I wanted to have dreads, like on stage, I could just buy a dread wig and wear it for the time I wanted, and then I could just take it off and be done with it.
Right.
So I just went that route. Didn't take it long to get hot in here. Get them lights up. The squirrels benefited from my generosity, says Amy. Nice. Nice woolly embankment to sleep in. Be glad they didn't try to stick it all in their cheeks. Then they would sound like Alvin, Simon, and Theodore, but with full mouth.
Right. Hawking up hairballs and stuff.
Yes. Which aren't squirrels, by the way, but for whatever reason, it works for this joke. They are, in fact, chipmunks, which is not unlike a squirrel. It's like a squirrel, but with no tail. Yep, I'm sticking with it.
Quiet night tonight.
It is quiet. What's going on, everybody? Are y'all not happy about bombing Iran? Bum, 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 Iran. Bum, 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 Iran. Bum, 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 Iran, bum, Iran. Take my hand.
Too soon,
I know. I'm just joking. Amy says the Chippendales. No, those are dancers to take their clothes off for money. How did they train those critters to dance? Well, they offered them $1 bills and a lot of screaming women. And you'd be surprised how motivating that is. Debbie says Iran had it coming. I mean, that's why if you're not guilty, you shouldn't run. They admitted it up front. Iran. So we went after them. See my logic? See how it works? I'm just kidding, though. I don't like the idea of war. I wish we'd stop it all. But things have to happen, I guess. Also not happy about the gas prices during all of this. Because, that's the first thing to go up. America has now has no allies, says Scott Truth. Are you not concerned with that? Well, if you got your facts right, I would be concerned, but that's incorrect, sir. We've lost a couple of the previously had allies, but we have many, many other allies that they don't talk about that often. Like the ones that want freedom. It's nice of you to try, though. I appreciate that.
I was going to say, nice try.
Amy says, hi, Scott Truth. Welcome. Please like and subscribe. Debbie says, Hormuz could be next if they decide to FAFO. Well, they're trying real hard. They've been attacking anybody that ships through there. And America has been trying to protect the ships going through there and also asking all the other neighboring countries to pitch in and help protect it. And they're not wanting to. And that's where the idea that we don't have any allies is coming from, because they don't want to get involved with that, which is understandable. I wouldn't want to get involved with the war either, so I'm not holding that against them. It's just the nature of war. But it does lend for a lot of speculation and a lot of people yapping that don't really know what they're talking about to spread a bunch of nonsense around the world like we don't have allies, when in fact the reality is we have been and still are the world police, and everyone depends on us for safety. So, there's that. I don't like that either. I wish we'd stop doing all that world police stuff. You can't make countries from the Middle East become democracies. They don't want to be democracies. You can't force it on them. And that's what we've been trying to do since Bush. Or probably before that. No, Scott, I'm not incorrect. Just because you say a thing doesn't make it so. Judy says, hey, Scott. John says, I was watching BLM protesting today. Why would you want to do that? It sounds like a boring time. They're nuts. If you get 2 eggs, one white and one brown, if you crack them, they're both the same inside. I agree. And we had that conversation yesterday about cows. It's kind of stupid. But as long as they're stupid people, they're going to argue about stupid things, I guess. Yes, I know, Scott. That is not what's happening in the Middle East as I was talking about. I didn't say America was a democracy. I said you can't push democracy on the Middle East. If you're going to quote me correctly, and stop trying to show everybody how smart you are. It doesn't look like you think it does. You're not a democracy. You're a republic. Yes, I know. Judy says, right, Nugget? Amy says, the Lord said he would not destroy the world with water. a rainbow promise, but fire is next time, and maybe he's talking about nukes. He could be. I don't believe in nukes. I think that's a big lie, but it's not against the realm of possibility, and that very well could be what destroys the world next. It is not a thing you should dismiss out of hand anyway. And what do you mean we don't have a diplomatic process, Scott? What do you think electing a president is? What do you think the Congress is? What do you think the judicial system is? Supreme Court and all of that. That's called a diplomatic process. What do you think the UN is? What do you think NATO is? Those are diplomatic processes. What do you think an ambassador is, other than a diplomat? How many ambassadors do you think America has? Yes, we are a constitutional republic, but that is not how they've been running this place for a very long time. The Democrats and half of the Republicans have been stuck on this idea of a democracy. They say it all the time in Congress and on TV. Our democracy is on the ballot. They're trying to force feed America the idea that we're a democracy, but we are not. You think the nations have pulled out speak volumes? Well, what are they saying there, Scott? You tell me, since you have all the answers, what we need to do next. While you're over there, armchair quarterbacking, why don't you just show us what the answer is? You seem to be full of wisdom and know everything, so tell us. What does it say to the rest of the world that some people have pulled out? I can tell you what it says from my point of view. Debbie says Trump never posted that. He was glad Mueller died. The Truth Social post has already been debunked several times. I spent some time fact-checking it and found out that the meme does not even match, says Debbie. Interesting. Yeah, I heard that on the news just about an hour ago that he said that. And my thought on the subject was, did you expect Trump to have tact? Have you met Trump? This guy is got the social graces of a chainsaw. I don't expect him to say anything gracious or kind. So if he did say that, that's right on course with what he would say. But you say he didn't say it. I don't know. I hadn't looked into it. Scott says, well, it does, because we're not engaged in war here in Australia. Correct. That could also be because your military isn't capable of it, and you depend on America for your defense. And England. I don't hear a lot about the Australian military. Debbie says the format for Truth Social. The meme doesn't match the format for Truth Social. Got it. So somebody made that up. Scott says, I'd say that's pretty damn smart. What is? What? You didn't say anything except that you weren't engaged in war. That's not smart or dumb. That's just not taking a position. Which, if you heard what I said initially, I'm not for war either. I wish we would stop all this nonsense. But that's not the way the world is. If you're involved, it's because you're living your life. And you have to be involved because that's what's happening. John says, you never stop what's been going on in the Middle East. They've been fighting for hundreds of years. That's correct. Yeah, thousands, actually. 2,000 years this fight has been going on. And it started there, and it's going to end there. And there's really nothing we can do about it. We really shouldn't get involved. But we are involved, and that means you have to talk about it because it's happening, whether you want it to be or not. Scott says, good conversation, mate. Keep up the good work. I'm trying, buddy. Thank you. That's lawful, not diplomatic. Incorrect. I said the UN. I also said NATO. Yes. ambassadorship. I mentioned all of the diplomatic states that we function under. But you said we had no diplomacy. But we do. Amy says democracy is two wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner. Yes. Tony Montana says def to the IDF. Are you Irish or Scottish there, Tony Montana? Welcome to the show. An ambassador is not necessarily a diplomat. Well, they have diplomatic immunity. I don't know why they're not a diplomat. They go overseas and talk on behalf of us. That is diplomatic by its very nature. I don't know what you're referring to if they're not diplomatic. I think you don't understand what an ambassador is. But I could be wrong. Not likely, but it is possible. Tony says again, deaf to the IDF. Yeah. We don't do all of that here, Tony. Calm your little self down. This is a conversation. You can disagree, you can agree, but you can't wish death on people. Death is a bad thing to wish. No matter who they are. Amy says, Tony Montana, welcome. Please like and subscribe. And Debbie says, the UN is useless to the USA. It don't seem like it's done a whole lot. But then again, I don't know much about that fight. I don't know a whole lot about those organizations, what they do, what they're involved in. It's just so far outside of my purview that I don't even care, really. A lot of people have a lot of emotional things to say about those places, those people, but I really don't think in the long run it matters to citizens what they're doing, because it doesn't really affect us either way. Until what they do succeeds, and then it affects us. John says, even British people think the UN is useless. I've heard that. If I'm not mistaken, what those organizations were set up for no longer exist. The UN specifically was set up around the USSR and the fall of the Berlin Wall and all of that stuff is what I understand it to be. And we don't have that problem anymore, or even that threat. So really, what's the point in them being there? I don't know why we don't just do away with that stuff, and then we don't have to worry about those problems anymore. But that's just my opinion. And my opinion is worth about as much as the weight of this pack of cigarettes, which I will continue to smoke until I can no longer smoke. Tony says, all right, Tony. Fab Daddy's here. He says, Scott is definitely not under 16. All right. Hey, Fab Daddy, nice to see you. Scott, are you under 16? If you are, that makes a lot more sense.
Hamburger helper hand, Fab.
Fab, how you doing, buddy? Amy says my son was given a big box of king crab clusters, and I've been researching it all day. I'm making my first seafood boil tomorrow. Nice. King crab is delicious, by the way, if you do it right. Use lots of butter. I think you will enjoy that very much if you like seafood. I don't eat seafood, so I can't do the old king crab. But I've heard wonderful things, and I like imitation crab, so that's kind of like that. And I think that's shark, which is also seafood, but less so. John says, good to see you, Fab. Prayers. Fab says, good to see you too, John. And Judy says, hey, Tony. Tony Montana, say hello to my little friend Judy. Amy says, hi, Fab Daddy. And Judy says, amen, Debbie. Amy says, deaf? What? I can't hear you. Hey, that deaf. Whatever deaf is, I can't remember. DEF, I think. Whatever. but I think he was trying to say death. But just get away with it. And the IDF isn't really involved in this little skirmish that we're having right now, as far as America's concerned anyway, so why are we even talking about them there, Tony Montana? Are you just in that part of the world and are sad that you're not involved in the skirmish? Throw your little hat in the ring. IDF. Do something with that. Judy says, hey, Fab. And the Trough Live says the UN, was formed before the Berlin Wall was erected. Was it now? I'd look into that. Fab Daddy says, Judy, Amy, Amanda, Jake, Debbie, Mabel, Linda. Fab Daddy. John says, what's your opinion on Trump pulling out of NATO? He's the president of the United States. If he doesn't think NATO is doing a job that he wants them to do, he should pull out. That's his prerogative. The next president will probably do something different. That's my opinion. And I'm sticking to it. Fab Daddy says Australia banned social media for everyone under 16. Ah. How about that in your little democratic diplomacy? I'm not sure I'd be taking advice from a country that can't speak freely. Amy says, seafood diet. I see it. I want to eat it. Amen. And by the way, Scott, I'm giving you a hard time. Don't take me seriously. I'm just ribbing you, buddy. I don't know if that was obvious or not, but I wanted to say it just so you understood. I'm just giving you hell. The whole point of tonight is to create argument and then walk away as friends at the end. So hopefully we can do that. The First Avenger. Hello, First Avenger. What have you been avenging? He says, I want to thank MAGA for the $4 a gallon gas. So much winning. Hey, buddy, you need to thank Iran for $4 in gas, because before we went to war with Iran, it was $2.50, which was half as much as it was when Biden was in office. In case you don't know, every time the country goes to war or it has a military involvement somewhere, gas is the first thing to go up. That's what pays for it. Because all those military machines cost a lot of money to run. I don't like it either, but it's not MAGA's fault. MAGA are the people that voted for Trump because he's good at running businesses, which he is, and so far has been doing a bang-up job at. Us getting into a skirmish in the middle of the world war that we're involved in, that is just politics. That's what's on the table, so he's reacting to it as a president would. No matter who's in office, they would be doing the same thing. So it's not MAGA that you're mad at. Get your priorities straight, First Avenger. Debbie says, John, I think it was a good decision. It was costing us, and we were getting no benefit. Well, I can tell you that I've never once had any effect in my life due to NATO or UN. Either one. They have not affected my life in any way whatsoever, any way, shape, or form. So it wouldn't hurt my feelings at all if they both just disappeared. And take the World Health Organization while you're at it. And the CDC. And the teachers union. And the education department. Let's get rid of all of that. Amy says, First Avenger, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, newcomers. Help us engage in discourse. That's what we need more of in this country and in those countries. Yeah, Debbie says, you're welcome, Avenger. It is better than the $7 a gallon in gas under Biden. Sure is. John says, I think that too, Debbie. Even I am British, and I agree. You are British. That doesn't mean anything. That just means you live in another country. But you and I think a lot alike. Amy says gas is $3.89 a gallon here. I'm not happy about it either. Trump isn't perfect, but he truly loves this country. And I'm not a diehard Trump lover, but he knows more about dollars than I do. Amen. Fab Daddy says, leaving an organization that the U.S. started is a huge mistake. It's just giving Putin an advantage. In what way, Fab Daddy? How does that give Putin an advantage? You are aware that the reason that this whole thing started in the first place is because NATO kept pushing to surround Russia. When Hillary Clinton tried to get Ukraine to join NATO, when Kamala Harris went over there to take the deal off the table, and that wily-haired fella in Britain, Johnson, whatever his name was, tore up the paperwork. That's what they were trying to do, surround Russia with NATO. And if you put yourself in his shoes, if you were a country that was landlocked and the only passage you had out to sea was that one spot, and the rest of the places you had around you were all NATO countries, would you not fight to keep that yours? I'm not saying that I would. I'm just saying that it's not unreasonable that we're in the situation we're in. But in what way does pulling out of NATO give another country, even Putin, an advantage? Explain that to me, because I'd like to know. And if America started it, why can't we end it? It's ours, obviously. If we don't like what it's doing, why can't we end it? ANNOTATION says, if you think Trump is pulling out of the UN or NATO is a good idea, you have been successfully psyoped by the Russians. You are a moron. Russia hasn't psyoped anybody, especially me. I think for myself, and whatever decisions I make for myself. I certainly don't allow people I don't know to put ideas in my head and then blame me for having them. Remember, I didn't talk about any of this. You brought it up. So you have been successfully psyoped. I'm just capitulating to the conversation. Get your ducks in a row there, ANNOTATION. I think what I want to think, and it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. Amy says, Trump said things will get worse before it gets better. It's hurting me badly. Hurry up, Mr. President, please. Well, it's hurting us all. You're not in this alone. Debbie says, Fab Daddy, NATO is the reason Putin attacked Ukraine. That's one of them, yeah. Fab Daddy says, how do you know what Putin thinks? How do you know what Putin thinks? You're the one that suggested it would give him an advantage. I don't know anything about Putin. I never suggested I knew how he thought. I'm just telling you what happened. I watched it happen. It was on the news. Judy says, good job, Debbie. John says, I wish Britain would start drilling for oil again. Starmer needs to stop this BS wind power. Amen. Drill, baby, drill. That's one of the reasons we voted for Trump. You can't have one without the other. Unfortunately, people that want to drill for oil come in the warring package. That's how that works. The Democrats don't want to. They want to make everything green that doesn't work. They want to tie everything up with red tape. They want to be bureaucratic and question everything to the nth degree without making any progress forward. Republicans, on the other hand, want to make shit happen and make things safe and make our children safe and keep the streets clean, and at least. So there's that. And they want to drill. They want to make money above all things. So you got to make money. You got to break an egg to make an omelet. That's the nature of the business. That's why when Republicans get in office, we usually get in some kind of battle, because that's where the oil is. Now, here's the real question you want to ask if you really want to be smart about things. There is enough oil under our feet right now in America to last the next 2,000 years. Why aren't we getting it from here? Why do we go to a third world country to get it from them? Because it's cheaper. It's not cheaper. We can get it for free. We just have to pay for the machines to go get it. So why is that? You answer that question and you'll understand a little bit more about why we end up going to war a lot. But I agree. Wind power is stupid. It will not stand up to scrutiny, and it will not last. It's not a good enough technology to replace energy from oil. Neither is any of the other green initiatives. They're just scams. Debbie says Ukraine encroached on Russia, and Russia was okay as long as Ukraine didn't join NATO, because Russia became landlocked and vulnerable. And when Biden started advocating for Ukraine to join NATO, it left Putin no choice but to attack. And that did happen. I watched that happen. Whether or not that's all of it, all of the details, I don't know. But that part did happen. No, FOMO Garage, you are incorrect again. Stop reading tabloids and pay attention to reality. Trump is the reason you know about the pedophile, not because he is one, because he's the one that turned him in. Debbie says, John says, Boris Johnson, thank you. I couldn't think of his name. Trump Live says, Debbie, that is literally misinformation and Kremlin propaganda. No, Trump Live, that literally is what happened on the news every day. It's not Kremlin propaganda. In fact, Kremlin doesn't actually function anymore. The KGB hasn't been around in quite a while. You are using outdated talking points. You really need to pay attention to what you're learning. No, again, FOMO Garage. That's incorrect also. Not only was that case overturned, not found guilty, but the 34 felons was one felon marked 34 times. And it was only a felon because they changed the law for 1 year so that it would be a felon, and they immediately changed it back so that it wouldn't be after they went after him in a political witch hunt. So you're wrong, and wrong. Go home while you're still ahead. You don't know what you're doing here. Amanda?
How is Trump a pedophile? And no, he's not.
No one has ever accused Trump of doing anything like that, ever. It's not even in the zeitgeist. You are wrong. You're guilting someone by association, and flimsily at that. You probably shouldn't do that. Makes you look like a moron. And it also gets you banned a lot, so stop doing that. I'd like to hear what you got to say, not nonsense.
Well, that's all he had was nonsense and disrespect, so he got his ass booted after I told him not to, so.
You don't know what your words mean there. You're using the wrong word in the wrong context there, FOMO Garage. Loathing and coddling are two completely different things that don't belong in the same sentence.
You know, as close as his name is to Homo Garage, I mean.
Right? Are you a homo, FOMO? Are you a homo, FOMO? I'm a homo, sapien. And Debbie says, FOMO Garage, you have no proof. Of course he doesn't. That's just nonsense that people do. They lob insults and then have nothing to back it up, which we don't do here. So you will get kicked out if you try that. If you're going to make an accusation here, you got to back it up with some kind of common sense. If you don't have any, keep your mouth shut. Amanda says,
how is Trump a pedophile? And no, where?
Keep going. 9:23.
Oh, my chat jumped. Hamburger helper hand, Patty, we miss you.
Nope. You went too far. I hadn't got there yet. Or my chat jumped.
Your
my
chat jumped.
Okay. Boris Johnson. No, he's not. 8 Ball is FOMO Garage a retard. 8 Ball says 9. He's tarded. He hasn't done it again yet. Fab Daddy says the Cold War just got lukewarm. The Cold War has been being fought in chat rooms all over the world for the past 2 decades. It hasn't gone anywhere. It just went underground. Well, that's the first thing you said that could be called an opinion, FOMO Garage. Trump sucks in your opinion. He's better than Biden. John says it's hurting the taxpayers in Britain, giving billions away for not our war. Well, it actually is your war, because if they have their way about it, you're closer than we are. So it would probably do you good to protect against that sort of thing. If the reason we're there is to keep them from having nuclear weapons, you probably want to be involved in that. Patty Donahue's here. Hey, Patty. Long time no see. How you doing? She says, hello, children. All right, here we go. Debbie says, the 8-ball lied. He is retarded. His TDS holds him back from learning the truth. Well, 8-ball is a AI that has no common sense. So there's that. And I wrote it, so that's even worse. Oh, I'd watch that if I were you, FOMO Garage. I wouldn't be calling people uneducated. You're the guy that used the wrong word in the wrong sentence. So you're the one that sounds uneducated. Judy says, hey, Patty.
Patty, hamburger helper hand, miss you.
Debbie says, FOMO Garage, that's rich coming from a retard. All right. Oh, is that all you got, FOMO Garage? Pedophile this and pedophile that? We don't have any morals. You don't know anything about our morals. You literally don't know who you're talking to. Why would you say something like that unless you're guilty of that yourself?
FOMO, don't come in here being disrespectful.
Right. You come into a place full of people that you don't know, lobbing insults and accusations. That's the fastest way to get kicked out of a place you don't know anybody about. So, keep running your mouth. Oh, you already gone?
Yeah, I didn't kick him out.
Okay, good for you. Judy says, FOMO Garage, please stop being rude. Well, he's gone, so. Coddling and loathing a pedophile. No, that's the wrong word. Loathing means to hate with all your heart. Coddling means to protect with all your heart.
I laughed when I read that.
Debbie says, you have no proof, FOMO Garage.
Check this out with your disrespectful lies and propaganda.
Fab Daddy says the SAVE Act is sneaky. I can agree with I'd to vote. If you can agree to the same day registration and voting and make it a national holiday, how is it sneaky? What it's asking for is voter ID and paper ballots and voting on the same day. I also believe it should be a national holiday, that you should be able to get off work and go vote and get paid for that time because it's required of you. And I think everybody is involved in benefiting from how the vote goes. So I think they should pay you to go down and stand in line and vote. A national holiday. We should vote in paper ballots and count that vote that night and elect the president that evening.
And have ID.
And do it with registered voter ID. Up-to-date ID. That way you know who's voting. It takes all the guesswork out of it. Literally anybody that advocates for not having an ID to vote, the only reason they could do that is so they could cheat. Literally, that's the only reason to advocate for not doing it. Voter ID makes every kind of sense, and other countries do that. So,
just when I die, don't let me vote Democrat.
Right. Because you can, A lot of if you're in California, a lot of that happens. It don't so much in other states. It does in Michigan. Michigan and California is the worst at it. In Chicago. John says, Debbie is smart. Stop with all that disrespect there, FOMO Garage. Right. Don't start insulting people you don't know. Debbie says, in the USA, you're innocent until proven guilty, no matter what the Democrats say. It should be that way. Judy says, amen, Debbie. Debbie says, I agree with that, Fab Daddy. Make voting day a holiday and bring your ID. Amen. Fab Daddy says, time to go game. Debbie and I agree. I am scared. Well, you and I agree, too.
No, that just means you might be coming closer to the right side, Fab.
That's right. 2 and 5. Have a good day.
Night, Fab.
Thank you for dropping by. John says, we came out of the EU. We are a sovereign country. We just got a retard prime minister who won't defend our country. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened. I don't know why they keep electing the same guy to run the countries. Same thing in all the other countries, too. Seems to be the same guy, same kind of guy. They elect to run the countries with no spine and no forward-looking vision and no ideas. They just are there, like part of the machinery. That's why I voted for Trump, because at least he was different. I knew that no matter what was going to happen, it would be different than what's been happening. And to me, that made more sense. Judy says, bye, Fab. And Debbie says, squawk, squawk, squawk. It's okay, Fab. Everything's going to be okay. Patty says, if you only knew how much I had to do to get this T60'd, you would laugh. Well, I don't know what a T60 is, so how much did you have to do to get that, and what is it? It sounds like a form that you fill out when you're trying to make a complaint to HR.
It might be a phone.
Did you bring your T60 form? Did you get the memo? All right, boys and girls. The argument's getting hot. What say you? What would you do differently in the world stage with what's going on right now? You see what's happening. What would you do different? Mabel says, I have been listening and learning. I just can't get behind the war in Iran. Me either. I feel it is a repeat of Iraq in some ways. And I feel no matter how close you are to Iran, you should not be obligated to help in it. Helping something you didn't start. I agree. But if the reason for doing it is to stop them from having nuclear weapons, which is what's purported, I think everybody is in the interest of stopping that, because they are one of the only countries that would actually use said nuclear weapons. And we don't want that, for sure. That's worse than any ground battle that's going on right now. If they are, in fact, real. I don't even know that they are. Debbie says, I did my taxes last week. I'm getting a federal refund. Nice. A whole $1 back. Wow. What will I do with my newfound wealth? Ha 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 ha.
Well, at least you don't have to pay in.
Amen to that. Taxes. One of those things that shouldn't be. I don't disagree with you, Mabel. Please try to keep in mind that any of my advocacy for what's going on is simply because it's going on. If I had my druthers, it would never have been going on in the first place. But it is, and because I have to live here, I have to deal with what's in front of me. So I have to pick whatever side I can based on the information I have. And Debbie says, that's what I said, man. At least I don't have to pay back. And Mabel says, but the reason they went to Iraq was because they had, quote, weapons of mass destruction. They didn't. So if that was wrong, then I feel we are on that line where Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. They just claim they are in the process of enriching uranium to make them. Well, that would be an awful big mistake to make. Number one. Number two, that was George Bush's doing, not Donald Trump's. You can't compare apples and oranges. Oranges. So, yes, we went into Iraq because of the weapons of mass destruction, but that is not why we went into Iraq. That's the excuse. That started, if you'll go back and think about it, I don't know if you were in this country or not, but in this country it looks slightly different than the news broadcasted it. What actually began all of that started in Afghanistan with Osama bin Laden. And apparently a guy on dialysis who lives in a cave was able to whip together enough people to hijack enough airplanes to crash into buildings and then have them fall on us, 9/11 style. And that was enough reason to go to war. Everybody was on board. And then we went to Iraq, which was left field. Nobody in America was expecting that. When that was announced, everybody was like, what? But he's over here in Afghanistan. Why are we going to Iraq? And then the weapons of mass destruction narrative came out. All I know is what was on the news. And before we went to war, they definitely put on the news pictures of missiles in that area. But I don't know where those pictures were taken. And I don't know what I was looking at. I was like, 16, 17 years old when that happened? I don't remember. It's been a while ago. So it could have been a lie, the wag the dog style. And I've always maintained that. I talk about politics because that's the arena that I'm in. But I think the whole thing is nonsense. I think it's all lies. So I have no idea what to believe because I don't know if they're making it up or not. I know that when we went to Iraq, that was out of left field. And that was a war we should have never gotten involved in. That was some stuff that Bush was doing based on what his father did, Bush the Senior. It's like him finishing his daddy's work. And he used 9/11 as an excuse to do it. Nobody at the time thought that was a good idea on the ground, us people that live in the world. But that's what the politicians were doing, and because of 9/11, we all went with it. Turned out, after all of that, then they said they didn't have weapons of mass destruction, and yet they stayed, and they kept going. And then they went into Afghanistan and did some stuff over there. And so it just became this big, ungodly thing that was uncontrollable and had no end in sight. And then Bush came out and said, mission accomplished, but yet we were still at war. And that didn't make any sense either because mission wasn't accomplished. And it took a long time to bring all of the people home, if they ever all came home. And then fast forward till today, this is a completely different situation for completely different reasons and a completely different president. Yet it still seems kind of familiar. So it sounds to me like there is money in war. And that's why all of the world leaders end up in war, because they like making money. The cost of that is civilian life. I maintain that normal people and elite people are playing different games, and there's different rules to those games. So what we see is one thing, they see as something else. And they take advantage of the world in a way we're not capable of. So that's always going to be a dissonance. There's always going to be a wonder whether they're making the whole thing up or whether there's an agenda behind what they're doing that we're not privy to. That's always going to be on the table. I can't fix that. But we are in Iran, and it is happening. So we have to talk about it. And depending on whatever country you're in, you have to pick a side. Hopefully we can make the smart decisions and communicate across lines and keep this thing from going off the rails in the public. Debbie says, I read that one. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Mabel says, okay, but let me be clear. Every time I make one of these statements, someone says, okay, but that's not Trump, or that's not Trump's fault. I have made no mention of Trump, just the situation. Sure. But that is who's doing it. So that's the only conclusion we can come to is the purpose for one of those statements. That's okay, though. You are entitled to your opinion, and you're entitled to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. John says, if I was prime minister, I would fund our military, not cutting back one warship that runs. That's dumb. And Patty says, thanks for your patience. You're welcome. I don't know what we're being patient about, but I love you. I still don't know what a T-60 is. John says, Tony Blair lied about weapons of mass destruction. I think I remember that. Linda says, message retracted. I can't read it if you retracted it. Monkey Juice is here. He says, long live Robert Mueller, Vietnam vet, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Navy Commendation, Gallantry Medal, FBI Director. You tell me who's an American patriot.
Chuck Norris.
Kermit the Frog.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris is an American patriot.
Way better than that.
And I don't have anything against Robert Mueller. What's your point there, Monkey Juice? That there's a hole in his coffee cup and it keeps going dry? Well, I agree, damn it, but there's nothing I can do about it except set it over here and hope that it ends up being full again. Big Bird, that's a good patriot. That's right, John. Big Bird. Kermit D. Frog says, Puppeteer. Hey, Puppeteer, nice to see you. Again, Monkey Juice. I said at the top of the show that Robert Mueller died and, condolences to his family and loved ones. He did what he was called upon to do, which looked a lot like Darth Vader because of the way they painted him on the news, but he was in fact called to do what he very well did. And he came out on top, saying Trump was innocent of the charges, and he did not allow them to impeach him. So how about that? Linda says, I'm not a big fan of politics, but I will say Trump is the first one to have the balls to follow through and not pardon and not pander to Iran because of their oil. Agreed. Yeah, I don't have any issue with Iran. I don't wish to go to war with Iran. But I'm going to trust that the president knows things that I don't know, has information that I don't have. And if that's true, I'm going to trust that what he's doing is in the best interest of the country, because everything else he's done has been because he loves the country and wants it to prosper. So I will just assume that this is the same thing. And until I see otherwise, I'm going to keep assuming that. Everyone is entitled to their opinions. Everyone's allowed to like or dislike Trump as they see fit. However, I won't be party to telling lies about the man or blaming him for things he didn't do. But if he did do it, then he has every right to be blamed for it. And Mabel says, I have a question. Shoot. Maybe you older folks will know this one. Who you calling old? I seen on a documentary, not political, but interesting. Do you know of a man named Richard Lopez, the Bjork stalker, 1996? It seems like I've heard that before, but I'm not really sure what it's about. I have heard that name, the Bjork stalker, but I don't know what it's in reference to. I'm assuming some kind of serial killer. Judy says, hey, Puppet, and right, Linda. Monkey Juice says, down with Iran. But the Jews pushed him. Nah. No. Have you ever met Trump or talk or listened to him talk? People don't tell Trump what to do. He does what he wants to do. He's not the follower type. So he wasn't pushed into doing what he did. He did it because he saw that he could get something out of it, I'm sure. I'm sure the reason we're in Iran is because Trump thinks that we can get something out of it that will be beneficial to us in the long run. I also am sure that he's playing the long game now. He's only got a couple years left, and he's trying to do things on a grand scale, like all presidents end up doing. Not necessarily a smart thing to do, but he seems to think it is. We'll see. I personally think anytime we go involved with war, I personally think that if God tells us to do it, we should do it. If he doesn't, we shouldn't. Because the end result is, no matter how you come out on top or on bottom, it costs American lives and other countries their citizens' lives. And that is not worth it in the long run. Nobody should die. I wish we could figure out a way to fight wars that didn't involve killing people. But that's just being optimistic. There's really no way to do that. John says Bjork was a singer, I think, in the 90s. Yeah, this is a different thing.
No, that's what she's talking about. She's talking about the man that stalked Bjork.
Oh, okay. Not the Bjork stalker, like
yes, that's
the Jack the Ripper, but like a person who stalked Bjork.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense. Interesting. So she was a singer in the 90s, and somebody was stalking her. Did they ever catch the guy? Do you know who it was? Debbie says, Mabel, right off the top of my head, I don't remember that. Where was it at? I'm guessing in England. What's the exit strategy? I don't know, Monkey Juice. I'm not a general in an army. I'm not involved in the military. I have no idea what the exit strategy is. Do you? Throwing your question marks up like you're demanding some kind of answer from me. I'm just a speaker, a head in a box. I don't have a way of swaying anything to happen in this world other than what I do here. So why are you getting demanding with me? You don't know either. Mabel says an American man was obsessed with the singer Bjork and had made 20 hours of tapes over a year of making a book with a mechanism that, when opened, would spray sulfuric acid. He then sent it to Bjork and took the sewer slide in his last tape. The sewer slide. I like it. That's terrible. Did it work? FOMO Garage says, what about when Trump was found guilty of SA? He was not. Of Jean Carroll. You mean the crazy woman that lied about what Trump did because she said that he molested her in a building that had a locked door, and he had a building that he owned across the street, which makes no sense at all. And also, have you seen his wife? Have you seen E. Jean Carroll? No, that's a lie. And also, he was not found guilty of that. He was found guilty of liable. The SA is Court of Public Appeal. That means you think it.
And it takes 13 jurors, 12 jurors to find you guilty to get a conviction. He was not convicted.
Correct.
But nice try.
But you still support him. Yeah, because we're supporting a man who's running the country that has nothing to do with lies and political hit pieces. Only children follow drama like that. No, they didn't, FOMO Garage. That is incorrect. He was found guilty of liable, which means after she accused him of sexual assault, he then went on an internet tirade and insulted her a lot and said some nasty things to her, which he was guilty of. And they found him guilty of liable, not sexual assault. You are incorrect. And Amanda says,
I'm not sure where I'm
FOMO Garage, you can get booted again.
Oh, yeah.
And no, they did not. Muggy Juice says every war is supposed to have an exit strategy, There never was one. There never was one for Afghanistan either. Did you see how Biden, your guy, exited the humiliation of America that he did there? Where he gave the enemy all of our weapons and all of our tools and all of our vehicles and all of our guns, and he just snatched everybody out in the middle of the night, causing a lot of people to get killed and left behind. How was that for an exit strategy? I bet you when Trump does it, it'll be a lot smoother. Nothing? Eh? Quit being butthurt over nonsense you know nothing about and pay attention to the reality of the world you live in. You don't know anything about military warfare, and neither do I. So asking me for the exit strategy is like asking me how to make filet mignon. I don't know. I just order it. Mabel says he was from Hollywood, Florida, if I remember correctly. Well, that makes sense. A lot of weirdos come from Florida, especially Hollywood. Remember Pee Wee Herman? Same thing. Judy says Richard Lopez was the stalker. Okay. Ricardo Lopez was the stalker. Ricardo Lopez. Wasn't that a talk show host? No, I'm just kidding. That's George Lopez. FOMO Garage says, you just kick anyone that says the truth. That's incorrect. Lots of people are saying true things. They're not getting kicked. Why you? Could it be because you're a moron? I think probably. Agent Kyle is back. Hello, Agent.
Wow.
Debbie says, FOMO Garage, the E. Jean Carroll jury on question 2 of the jury questions were asked, did Trump ever touch her? And they all answered no. So how did he sexually assault her when he never touched her? Good question. Amanda?
No, I kick people who spread lies and propaganda.
954. Nope. Hang
Yeah,
on.
that's where I was at. No, I kick people who spread lies and
There
propaganda.
you go. That's 952. That's right.
Yeah, I'm there.
Monkey Juice says, remember Afghanistan withdrawal? There wasn't one. Yes, that was Biden, not Trump. Agent says, hi, Untethered Live. Hi, Agent. Nice to see you. Debbie says, I don't remember the Bjork stalker, but I remember the Jodie Foster stalker. Right on. Wasn't that the same guy that shot Ronald Reagan? I think it was. I'm pretty sure that's the same guy. Mabel says the FBI found the tapes before the package was sent and realized what he was doing, so they stopped it before it got to Bjork. His neighbor reported a foul smell, and the authorities found Richard Lopez down that sewer slide.
Body in his apartment.
Mm-hmm. Sewer slide.
Hamburger helper hand, Kylan.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. FOMO Garage says he was found guilty by 9 jurors. No, he wasn't. Sorry. You were watching the wrong program. They did not get found guilty. He found guilty of liable.
He was found liable. Not guilty. He has no convictions.
This is SA we're talking about. I don't care. Neither do all the women in here. It's not to be taken lightly and brushed off. Well, when it's true, you're right. Whilst the jurors were handpicked by Trump himself. No, they were handpicked by Trump's legal team, themselves. That would be Alina Hava. And they found him guilty. They did not. Why isn't he in jail? Why did he win president? If he was found guilty of a crime, he'd be in jail. Debbie says Trump was found guilty of talking bad about her, and that's it. Right, liable. Not SA. Stay tuned for the Iran withdrawal, says Monkey Juice. I will. When it happens, that'll happen. What's your point?
He was not convicted.
Keep reading. I will, Monkey Juice. Stop giving me orders or I'll kick you out of here. The hell's wrong with you? say something or don't say anything. John says Biden coursed mayhem, cost America and Britain money and lives. Yes, he did. He caused it. Yes, mayhem. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, like the one commercial. What's the damn
Mayhem.
No, State Farm or not State Farm,
Allstate.
Progressive.
Allstate.
Allstate, yeah, was Mayhem guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Biden for sure.
Yes, for sure. FOMO Garage says the reality is MAGA has around only a 35% current approval rating among Americans. Boy, you're a moron, aren't you?
That's hilarious.
I think you need to look at your numbers again. Stop listening to
NBC
Reuters.
and CNN and MS. Yeah, stop listening to them. Go independent.
Monkey Juice says Trump touches everything. No, he doesn't. He hadn't touched me. Patty says, I'm just listening. You do whatever you want to do, Patty. Mabel says, I have expressed disagreement with many things on Politics Night and even other nights, and I have never been muted or banned, so that argument is ridiculous. Agreed. Yeah, it's not that I kick out anybody that says truth. I kick out people who are disrespectful and rude and moronic.
And keep spreading the lies like he's keeping on spreading.
And by the way, just so you know, I haven't kicked anybody out ever.
Well, yeah.
I have moderators that do that, and they see fit to do so, and I trust them.
But he can,
I may have kicked somebody out, but
he can stop with the unproven bullshit that he keeps posting.
yeah, don't tell lies about people. That's not nice.
You can't prove nothing that you're saying. He was not convicted of 34 felonies.
FOMO Garage says, you just think he never touched her. Well, that's what the jury said. When that's not even proven. Well, that's what the jury said. And your argument a minute ago was that the jury, who he picked himself, said something. So that's what they said. Which side of that argument are you on? You just believe that because Trump told you. Trump has never said anything to me. Ever. I've never met Trump. What are you talking about? I believe what I see with my own eyes. Judy says, hey, agent. Monkey Juice says, LOL, liable. Well, that is correct, Monkey Juice. James Bundy says, same dude. Hinckley, taxi driver BS. Yeah, same guy. That wasn't, I don't think that was taxi driver, though. I think that's the guy that shot John Lennon, the taxi driver nonsense. I'm not sure. But yeah, incel guy with a gun trying to win Jodie Foster's heart, shot the president. Pretty much nonsense. You know he's free and plays guitar in coffee houses right now. That's true. John Hinckley, and I don't think he uses that name anymore, but he's a guitar player and he plays guitar in coffee houses. Scary. And welcome, James Bundy. Please like and subscribe. Monkey Juice says, I'm liable of speeding yesterday.
Okay.
That's not what liable is. Unless you accused yourself of speeding yesterday. Did you? That would be liable. Liable goes with slander. Suddenly I feel a strange prickling in the back of my neck.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like a sofa's around somewhere. I can feel it.
Imagine that.
FOMO Garage says, if he was found guilty of a crime, he would be in jail? Yes, that's how law works.
Especially 34 felonies.
Yeah. He was found guilty and convicted of 34 felonies. No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
Where was he convicted at? Do you know what convicted means? So where did he get convicted at?
If he was convicted, he wouldn't be president.
He went to court. He won in court. Well, he didn't win, but he got out of it in court. And now he's president. What are you talking about, man? I'm talking about reality. I'm the guy that understands what the word convicted means. John says there's no evidence Trump did SA on anyone, even in the Epstein files.
Exactly.
Right. Everybody that has ever been involved with Trump, who's ever been asked, and they have asked everybody because they have been trying for 16 years now to get Trump on something. Believe that. If there was a parking ticket that they could put him in jail for, they would have. Believe me. They have been looking. They have been all up his ass. Every alphabet letter agency there is has been after Trump since he began this foray. I assure you, if there was anything they could put him away for, they would have done it. They even mailed him classified documents, told him to accept the classified documents, and then rated him about the classified documents that they sent him and still couldn't catch him on it. Believe me, if he was guilty of anything, they'd use it. They have asked everyone, and not one person has ever said he was guilty of anything sexual. Here's the thing you don't seem to realize. Trump is a germaphobe. That's why everything in his house is gold, and he never is seen touching anybody. Think about it. Think about what you're saying.
And he was not in jail. That is called fingerprints and a photo to be charged of a crime, which everybody does.
He was booked. He went into the sheriff's department in New York, I presume, and they fingerprinted him and took his picture. And while the flash was dying down in the room, that picture was then on T-shirts being sold. That picture. Before the ink even dried, it was on T-shirts. I don't know how he did that, but you go Trump. And shoes and everything else. And then he left. He did not go to jail at all. He spent zero time in a slammer.
He didn't even go into a cell. He went in, he got fingerprints and his picture taken, and he walked out.
Yes.
Jeez, people.
What are you talking about, man?
Go back to your homo garage.
Monkey Juice says convicted of 34 felonies. Is that true? No. It's not true. He was accused of one felony 34 times. It literally is his lawyer wrote the word expense in a book that keeps track of expenses. Instead of, I paid off a hooker to keep her mouth shut, he wrote expense. And he wrote it in 34 columns because he paid her 34 times for the exact same thing. It's one crime counted 34 times. And it's only a crime because New York changed the law to make it a felony, because I don't know if you know this or not, it's not illegal to pay people to shut up. It's called a non-disclosure, and every company in America does it. In the world, indeed. But in New York, for 1 year, it was a felony. Otherwise, they couldn't have even prosecuted him on that. Because it's not illegal for your lawyer to write in your ledger what you do with your money. Crimes require a victim. No victim, no crime. See? Like when they tried to take his Mar-a-Lago, they said that he overestimated it. The bank said, we did our due diligence. We knew he overshot the money a little bit, the value, but we gave him the loan, and he paid it back in record time, and we'll do business with him again. Can't get him there either. No victim, no crime. Not guilty. Wow. Debbie says, FOMO Garage is retarded. Even CNN just reported Trump's numbers are at a record high. From CNN, That's like slapping you in the face.
Right.
Trump is stomping the Democrats. Even CNN says so. And Judy says, me too, Patty, just staying quiet. Linda says, Monkey, were you alive during the 444 conflict with the 52 U.S. hostages? Are you an American? I think yes and yes. But I don't know. Monkey Juice says, I remember 1976 Iran hostages. I was 19.
He was 10.
I was 10. So Valens here. Are you guys? Are you okay, guys? Yeah. Are you okay? Hi, Soph. Welcome to the bleep bloop bloop bleep 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 bloop.
Hamburger helper hands up.
Mabel says the difference in speaking with intelligence and understanding rather than disrespect and ignorance. And when I say something, it is because I have researched it, not because of any media or political sources.
Yeah,
Amen.
and we can tell that.
And we can tell that. And you are entitled to what you believe. And we're friends. So I support you in your belief, even if I disagree with it. And that's okay. That's the whole point of talking. To talk about things, to rationalize, to disagree, to agree, whatever it is. But you come in throwing insults and saying nonsense, and you get booted out. If you want to be part of a community, you got to contribute to the community.
We do absolutely zero research.
Who said that?
Where's your channel then, Homo Garage?
Oh, yeah. Where's your channel? How's your numbers looking? How much money have you made today?
It's called getting your picture and fingerprints for court.
Yeah.
It happens to anybody who gets a charge.
Yeah, you have to do that. It's part of the process. It's called Book 'em, Dano.
He didn't have a bond. He didn't need a bond. He wasn't under arrest.
Right.
Do your research.
Judy says, hey, Soph. John says, you really need to read Biden's daughter's book. There's more of wrongdoing in that book. Facts.
Yes, definitely.
Right. Have you not looked at that there from our garage? Did you not know that your President Biden used to take showers with his underage daughter and fondle her in the dark? That's called SA. Trump's never been accused of anything like that. Look at their kids. Look at Trump's kids versus Biden's kids.
Yeah.
That one's a train wreck and one are successful businessmen who are all doing well, and women. Think about what you're saying. Monkey Juice says, hey, Linda, remember the 1977 gas shortages? Yes, I do. I was there. I remember waiting in line in a white Plymouth for gasoline with my mama at the wheel and her saying something like, if Winston's ever get up to 50 cents, she was going to quit. Hey, Mom, the cheap ones are $5 a pack. Linda says, it was 1979 and 52 diplomats and citizens. Look it up, Monkey. Is that the one that Reagan got released as he was taking office? It's actually Jimmy Carter got him started and he finished it. And it was handed over in the limo as he was taking office. I think that's what you're talking about.
Old news.
Fumble Garage says, okay, what about when ICE agents murdered Alex Pretty? They didn't. He had a gun. When he was legally carrying and never brandished his weapon. Incorrect. He did brandish his weapon, or they thought he did. That's why they shot him.
He was interfering with ICE agents with a loaded gun.
Yeah, he was interfering with a lawful stop. And then he, according to them, brandished his weapon. I don't know if he did or not, but he did reach for it. I saw that on film. I don't know if he pulled it out, but he did reach for it, and they shot him.
And a gun went off in the struggle, which was Pretty's gun, because of the type of gun it was. When it got bumped, it shot, so they thought he was shooting.
Right, which is a mistake anybody would make in that type of situation.
And that was a proven fact. All the evidence has come out about that. All the studies on his gun has proven that. So that's old news. Try something else next.
You want to go with the girl next? Good. She was pretty good.
Trying to run him over.
Then MAGA was saying, well, why did he have that much ammo? That goes against 2A.
No.
Not
when you're somewhere causing problems. You shouldn't even be carrying your gun.
Everybody's allowed to carry a gun. You're not allowed to commit a crime with that gun. If you are committing a crime while armed, you will be shot. Everyone's allowed to carry a gun. Everyone. They're not allowed to commit crimes with that gun. Think about what you're saying. Mabel says, Soph, everyone's fine. No one is dying. And if we are lucky, none of us will spontaneously combust upon you arriving. Ha! I might. Wow. Purr. Soph says, that's good. How you doing, Soph? You doing all right? Are you getting by in the world? FOMO says, he was convicted. He was not. He got booked in prison. He did not. Haven't you seen the mugshot, Lamau?
Yeah, it's hanging in the White House.
It's
right?
on his T-shirt.
And it's hanging right as you go into the office at the White House.
Yeah, that mugshot's in the White House. Think about that.
Wow.
I can tell you've never been arrested. Monkey Juice says he was convicted in Manhattan, New York. He pardoned himself because he won the election. WTF, he did not pardon himself. There is no pardon issued by Trump to himself. That is incorrect. He won the election because all the good people voted for him.
And no, he was using her to block ICE from him. If you go back and watch the videos again, he wasn't protecting her or helping her because ICE pushed her down.
Her who?
The girl,
the Mexican woman?
The good guy.
Soph says, I'm so excited and I just can't. Are you wearing leg warmers? Debbie says, FOMO Garage, it was one bookkeeping error copied an additional 33 times. That's the 34. And he got no discipline or fines. So Trump had no price to pay for those 34 counts.
Exactly.
Correct. Yeah, and those 34 counts are not counts in any other time of the year. They changed the law to make it illegal so that they could get him on it, which failed. Today, that's not illegal because it only lasted a year. It's a 1-year thing by a Democrat judge who made it legal for 1 year to go after Trump for that crime because it wasn't a crime, and it's not now. You can do it right now and not go to jail for it. And Trump never been to jail, so, says John. Yeah, he never went to jail. That's a lie. Whoever told you that lied to you. They did talk about it a lot, so I can see why you would be confused into thinking that it happened. It did not. That was wishful thinking. Democrats wishing that they could put him in jail. And Linda says, yes, Monkey, but that was because of the Iraq-Iran war, not America. What is? Oh, the convicted in New York? No, he never pardoned himself. I don't know what we're talking about. Linda, what was about the Iraq-Iran war?
I think it's talking about all the soldiers and stuff that they were talking about earlier.
Did I miss something?
No, what they were talking about in 76 or whatever.
Oh, the diplomats and citizens that were hostages. Okay, that makes sense.
He was never in jail. It's called fingerprints in a photo because they were trying to charge him with a crime.
In order to go to court, you have to be processed. So they had to process him so that he could go to court.
He went.
So he got his fingerprints.
To the police, the sheriff's department walked up there himself. They took him in. They fingerprinted him. They gave him a mugshot, and he walked back out the door.
And sold T-shirts.
Was selling T-shirts before he ever made it out the door. And then put the picture up at the entrance of the White House to his office.
Yeah, because that's a badge of honor, not a thing that he's worried about.
Hilarious. Because he knows they ain't got shit on him.
FOMO says he isn't stomping Democrats. MAGA is in shambles. Yeah, well, you just think that at the next election. Keep thinking that. They are in a war that is unconstitutional that breaks international law. Incorrect.
What international law?
That's tearing his base apart. Well, there are people dividing on this issue, but it is not illegal to fight a war, and it is not against international law to do what they're doing. I hazard to think that you don't have any idea what international law is or what it states. You're just repeating something you heard somebody cooler than you and smarter than you say. It's not working for you. Debbie says, FOMO Garage, that is a mugshot because charges were brought. He took the pic and went home. Yes.
He never spent an hour in jail. Never went behind bars.
It wasn't in New York. Do you know anything? Or was it? New York was the place where he went to court. New York was the place where he was booked. And New York is the place where he stomped their asses with not going to jail. What are you talking about? Georgia? No. He didn't get fingerprinted in Georgia. He got fingerprinted in New York. Georgia's the Fannie Willis thing. That never even made it off the ground. And she was found guilty of the thing she was going after him for, so they dropped the whole thing. You got two different things confused in your own mind. Fannie Willis is down there. The other girl is up there. I can't remember her name right now. The one with the big crooked eye.
Sonny or...
No. That's how insignificant she is. The one that went after Trump made a career on going after him.
I don't remember.
Does anybody know her name?
Fannie?
I can't think of it.
No.
Fannie Willis is the Georgia one. And the only reason I know that's because I'm from Georgia. And yes, I do know anything. Debbie says, FOMO Garage, you are so wrong, it's hilarious. Muggy says, he made bail. No, he didn't. He didn't go to jail. Can't make bail if you don't go to jail. What you're referring to is a fine that was $250,000. No,
was found
it was $1.4 million.
Yeah, it was 1.4, and it was found unconstitutional.
Yeah, and so they dropped it down to a reasonable number. And he paid that, and that's that. That was a bond, not being bonded out of jail. It was being bonded so he didn't have to go to jail. If that makes any sense. It's not bail, it is a bond. He wasn't in jail to start with.
And why are we stuck on old garbage anyway?
And Soph says, I'm so excited for my birthday coming up. Again, that's like 3 times this year. Wow. Well, you got a lot of birthdays, Soph. Still 34 felonies. Yeah, 34 felonies that didn't stick. So why do you keep bringing it up? Is that all you have to go on? Some old shit that didn't happen? 34 felonies. Do you lay awake at night saying 34 felonies, 34 felonies, 34 felonies? If I wish it hard enough and long enough, it might come true. 34 felonies, 34 felonies. Do you know how stupid you sound? The whole world has moved beyond that except for you. Trump derangement syndrome is pouring through your veins. But Trump is known for his very firm handshake, so I am not sure about the germaphobe thing.
Oh, he's a germaphobe.
Oh, he's a germaphobe. Now, he does shake hands, but believe me, that's all he does.
If you pay attention, he's got a bottle of Germ-X in his pocket.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, there's a picture somewhere I've seen where the drawer is open on his desk, and it's just full of bottles of hand sanitizer.
Uh-huh.
But he does shake hands, but he doesn't. That's the reason he sits like this with his fingers touching, because he doesn't like to touch things.
He only shakes hands because he has to, and it looks good.
And the reason I know about the germaphobe thing, because at one point they accused him of going to Russia and hiring hookers to pee on him, and that is so far from anything Trump would ever do that I found out about it through that accusation. Judy says, happy birthday, Soph. When is it? I'm guessing not today. Debbie says, our government even has a slush fund to pay people to shut up, and it's not a crime. Right. Correct. Yes, there's a big line item in the budget for that very reason, and the Congress uses it a lot to make people shut up, because apparently it is a big business to sue people to get money when they're rich and accuse them of a sexual assault, and then they pay you to shut up, and you get paid, and you go on about your business. That happens a lot. Stormy Daniels has done it like 4 times. So, Trump's just her latest victim. Probably not even. She's probably done it since then. So how does that fit into your narrative that there is a budget item for slush fund money to keep people quiet, and the Congress uses it, and so do all the politicians?
Clinton paid Monica to be quiet.
That's correct. Not a crime. It's gross, but it's not a crime. Richard says, just admit that the facts are 34 felonies. Don't spin. I haven't spun anything. I am speaking facts, and I will admit nothing of the sort. It's not true. Why don't you look in the mirror and just say 34 felonies until you turn into a pumpkin? Because that's the only thing you're ever going to get out of that line of thinking. And Soph says it's the 15th of May this year. Calling me a homo because my name says FOMO. How childish. I thought it was funny. You guys sound like high schoolers, really. One of us actually is a high schooler. Care to guess which one it is? And Trump, his numbers are not at a record high. Even Republicans are leaving in droves. Like who?
That's why wasn't John Waterman or whatever his name? Fetterman just came over to the Republican side, right?
You guys are losing guys to us. So
Fetterman said, "I've had enough of this stupid shit.
Yeah.
I'm out of here."
Would you like to count the number of Democrats who are currently serving under Trump right now?
Yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard. It goes on and on and on. Marco Rubio. Judy says, you'll have to come on when it's your birthday, Soph. Yeah, when it's your birthday, I'll sing you happy birthday. Monkey says, name one thing that Trump has made your life better. Name one thing that Trump has made my life better.
He's gotten rid of the illegals.
Yeah, there's a whole lot less illegals running around threatening to kill people like me.
He's gotten rid of a bunch of fraud that has cost the United States a whole bunch of money.
Right. Gas is cheaper until the war started.
And so was food.
Food is cheaper by a lot. My rent has gone down. That sort of thing. Not my rent, but rent has gone down. So, yeah. Trump has made life better in a lot of ways. There's a lot more employment opportunities. I'm thinking about switching jobs, which I could not have done under Biden.
Fetterman. Thank you, John.
John Fetterman. That's what I said.
Not right this minute. It's not, Monkey.
What are we talking about? Where are we at?
I'm at the bottom. Sorry.
Don't do that.
I'm sorry. It popped up and I read it and answered it. You're at 10:08.
10:08.
Linda's comment.
Linda says, right, Debbie, but I guess that fund is only available to the ones they want to protect. Yeah. Debbie says, FOMO Garage, your Trump derangement syndrome has made you retarded. FOMO says, how am I so wrong? Because you're a Democrat and it's in your DNA. He was booked in Georgia. Do you do absolutely zero research? Yeah, no. I do a lot of research. That's why I have a channel and talk for a living. And no, he was not booked in Georgia.
He took a mugshot picture in Georgia.
I think he took a mugshot picture in New York.
Yeah.
Richard Duggan says, plain and simple, one thing how Trump makes your life better. I mentioned like 5.
We just told you a whole bunch of them. Next.
Debbie says, Monkey, my stocks and bonds under Trump are soaring. That's one for you.
Right.
Yeah. Also, 401k is up. Investment opportunities are up. Drill baby drill is happening. Jobs are spreading all over the place. There's a lot of good things Trump has done. He's cut a lot of red tape to make things easier for people that want to build things.
He's brought more jobs back to the country.
He's making other countries chip in and their fair share of things so that stuff gets cheaper. John says, it's due process. Right. Richard says, the Dow is 45K. All right. Do you not remember the 4 years where it was breaking records on a daily basis because of Donald Trump? 4 years. Every day it hit a new record. Up, 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 up. It didn't do as good this term, but his first term, it skyrocketed. And then COVID happened, and everything flatlined. And so anything from that position is an upward trajectory. So everything Trump has done has made the country better because we were at COVID. FOMO Garage says, I never even insulted you. What the F? I'm debating. If you think this is a debate, you have missed the plot. This is not a debate. This is me whipping your ass with facts up one side and down the other. And to answer your question, I make more money than people make in a month, in a day at my shop. I own it.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I can imagine things too. Don't care.
You probably live in Minnesota and have a Somalian daycare, right?
Patty says, message retracted. I can't read it if you retract it, Patty. What kind of shop do you own, FOMO Garage? Judy says, bye, Patty. I don't think she left. I think she just...
she did.
Did she?
Yeah, that's what she had typed and retracted it.
What'd she say?
She said night ag, A-G-G, instead of A-L-O.
Oh. Well, good night, Patty.
Good night, Patty.
FOMO Garage says, shit, how many packs do you smoke a day? Holy, about 2.
As many as he wants.
As many as I want. I'm over 21 and able to buy them, so why not? How many dicks do you suck? Debbie says, FOMO Garage, that just means even your money can't buy you any smarts. Yeah, all that money you're making and you're worried about Donald Trump?
Right.
Think about that for a minute. Debbie says, FOMO Garage, why do you care how many packs? It ain't like you're buying them. Right. Patty says, good night all. America, 100% smiley faces, prayers, and white power. I love you, Patty. Thank you for being here. Monkey Juice says, people will vote on how their lives are prospering. End of story. Well, the whole country overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. Does that tell you anything? Imagine that for a minute, if you will. While asking what Trump has done to make your life better and then saying something like people vote on how their lives prosper. If people vote based on their lives prospering and every state in the union trended to the right, every one of them, even California, and he won overwhelmingly the popular vote, the Electoral College, hands down, and won all the battleground states, every one of them. What does that tell you about people's prospering lives and their belief that Donald Trump will make it better? Does any part of that hit you in the reality fields? Alex Pretty was committing a crime, FOMO Garage. He was interfering with an investigation, which is illegal last time I checked. Think about what you're saying. I do think about what I'm saying.
Standing in the middle of the road, blowing a whistle, trying to alert people that ICE was there, which is interfering with police.
He, in fact, never brandished his weapon. He was helping someone else who was knocked down by ICE. Also incorrect.
She wasn't knocked down. She was knocked down, but then she got up and he used her as a shield because ICE was coming after him.
Right. Yeah, he wasn't helping her. He was using her to protect himself. And also, his gun went off. Anybody in that situation would be understood to fire back if they hear a gunshot. They don't have to see it. They assumed he pulled his weapon and they fired on him. If he was not committing a crime, he would not have been in that position to get shot. And John says, did not pardon himself. Facts. Correct. No, Donald Trump never issued a pardon for himself. That's some more Democrat lies. You ever notice that there's no such thing as a conservative conspiracy? There's a reason that it's a Democratic conspiracy, that phrase exists. Debbie says, FOMO Garage, Pretty brought a gun without ID. That is a federal offense. Yes. Monkey says, you are right. He didn't pardon himself. When elected, it all went away. My bad. It all went away because it was nonsense to begin with. He got elected in the process of it going away. It would have went away if he didn't get elected. How do things just go away? What is the process by which something goes away? In this case, it was dropped by the judge because they couldn't get him, because he didn't do the thing they said he did. Richard says, Constitution says so. Says what? That when you become president, you can't go to jail? That's incorrect. You can effectively be president in jail. Yes. I'm not sure that it's ever happened, but it may have. You can look into it. But that conversation was brought up when they were thinking about putting him in a trailer outside of Rikers Island. Using that area. I know Rikers is closed down, but they were going to use that area to house him. And they were talking about it. They were planning on putting him in jail if they could. And that was brought up. What if he wins the election? Well, he effectively can run the country from a jail cell. You'd have to have Secret Service in there, but that's what they're paid for. Debbie says, Pretty did something he should have never done, and he met the find out portion of the F around and find out. Yes, he did. He was booked in the Fulton County Jail. No, he wasn't. What are you talking about? He went to jail. No, he didn't. He was booked.
He got a mugshot.
That's why he has a mugshot. Wake up. I am awake. Can you not see my eyes? I'm awake. Incorrect. Sorry. He got a mugshot. That's all. He got fingerprinted. That's all. He never walked into a jail cell. Soph says 54 days and 7 weeks and 5 days until I'm 24 again. I'm pretty sure you were 24 the last time we had this conversation. John says due process means fingerprints and photo and bailed out and walked out. Except he didn't bail out. He was never put in jail. He was processed because that's the way you go to court. Debbie says, FOMO Garage, go learn something and then come back because right now you are just acting like a moron. Monkey Juice says, he was in court for like 2 weeks. It's on film. WTF, yes, in court.
It's called a trial.
It's called a trial. And when he left court, he went home.
Not guilty.
And when he left court, finally, he went home not guilty. You don't remember his speeches after every day in court? Yes, out in the sunshine, in the wide open air, after court, yes.
With no handcuffs and no bracelets and no GPS monitors and no house arrest and none of that.
Right.
Which, with somebody with 34 felonies, would have been on house arrest with a GPS monitor.
Multiple states and multiple charges. Letitia James, thank you. Chevy Levon. Is that how you say that? Chevy Levon? Chev Evelyn? Chevy Levon. Chevy Levon. Chevy Levon. Chevy Levon. Chevy Levon was a good woman. Anyway. Thank you. Letitia James is the one in New York. Multiple state, multiple charges, says Monkey Juice. Yeah, and both of them didn't stick. And welcome, Chevy Levon. And the Ottoman, welcome. Get a life, bro. I have a life. It's quite a nice one. Like, subscribe, share, support, join, and if you can, that would make me feel better. All these people telling me I have no life. You see this that you're looking at? It's called life, and I'm currently living it. What are you doing? John says, my bad. I stand corrected. Bond, not bail. That is correct. Bond, not bail. Judy says, how's your mom, Soph? Debbie says, Letitia James is in New York. That's the one I was trying to think of. And she has charges brought against her because she actually did what she said Trump did. So did Fannie Willis. Same thing. They're both guilty of the thing they went after Trump for. That ought to tell you something. And also, there was that whole love triangle with, love fest going on with Fannie Willis and her boyfriend or lead prosecutor. There's all that going on. These people are trash, is what I'm saying. John Anthony's here. He says, much love, gang. Folk libtards. They want to bring down the house for Islam as if somehow they'll be accepted by Islam. Look what happened to liberals who helped this regime gain power in 79. Hello, Mr. P. Nice to see you.
Hamburger helper hand, John.
We are having a Trump fest over here.
Yeah, that's why he said what he said.
Monkey Juice says, it's all about the charter.
Character.
It's all about character. You want to defend it, great. I want to defend what? I'm not defending anybody. I'm standing on principle. I'm not defending anybody. I don't have to defend Trump. All I'm saying is what actually occurred. I am reporting the news. That's it.
And besides, Trump is a hell of a character.
Yes, much more than you. He makes people laugh. I do too, by the way. Ha! See? See? John says Prince Andrew done the same, and it comes back to haunt him again. Payoff.
Right.
Right on. Yeah, a lot of people do that payoff thing. A lot of people. It is not unique to Trump by any stretch of the imagination. It's not even unexpected. Sorry, my chat jumped again. I found it. John says, that's a Pennsylvania boy y'all talking about. Hell yeah. Fetterman, John Fetterman. Yeah, he's a nice guy. I like him. A little weird, but I like him. A little poor taste in clothing, but I like him. Monkey Juice says food and gas is not cheaper. Maybe not where you are, but I live in a Republican state, so it's much cheaper here. I don't live with Democrat strongholds. I don't live where they make guns illegal so that the criminals can affect me with guns and I can't defend myself. And you come here, buddy, you're in for a good time.
And they think it's okay to brainwash their children to think that they're boys or girls when they're neither.
Yeah, there's that. Maybe you should move. FOMO Garage says, so you say you're glad he's gotten rid of illegals, yet now he has taken it back and is trying to make it easier for immigrants to work for farms to help bail them out now after they're screwed.
No.
No. You seem to misunderstand the difference between an illegal immigrant and an immigrant. Those are two different things. They come from the same place, but very different things on this side of the fence.
And I think what he's talking about is the ones that have been here for a very long time and have caused no problems and have been working on these farms. He's telling the farmers that if they want to take responsibility and sign paperwork stating that they take full responsibility for what these people do, then they have to go get in line and get their green card.
Yeah, you know that thing that you Democrats whine about because of the illegals being kicked out? They've been here their whole lives. They're just tax-paying citizens, blah, 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 blah. This is what he's doing for those. The ones that don't actually deserve to get kicked out, that haven't committed any crimes, that aren't negative impacts on the culture that we the people that assimilate and learn English and try to function in our society, yeah, he's making a way for them. That's what we want him to do. But the illegals, the gangs, the thug members, the troublemakers, the guys who run around with the Mexican flags in our country, out. Out with a vengeance. Yes. What are you bitching about? You not like that idea? You not think the dreamers have a right to be here because they were born here? John says, who GAF? Who gives a F if prices go up short term? If we're able to bring down one of the worst thorns in the side of humanity ever. Of course, in wartime, prices go up. Tighten your belt and suck it up, Buttercup. I kind of agree with that, and I wish we didn't have to go to war, and I didn't vote for war, and I don't support the war, but we are in it, and I hope we win it. So there's that.
Monkey, don't be disrespectful. That's your warning.
FOMO Garage says, wow, y'all are so brainwashed. The only person talking about brainwashing here is you. He was booked in Georgia, Fulton County Jail. Do some research for his sake. I don't care about his sake.
It doesn't matter. It's pointless. It's over.
Yeah, why do you care?
It doesn't change anything.
He did not go to jail. Sorry. FOMO Garage says he was booked and his mugshot was taken there. Yeah, that's what happens when you get booked. You get a mugshot and you get fingerprints, and then he left. He did not go to jail. Nobody is suggesting he didn't get a mugshot.
It doesn't matter. It don't change anything.
Not New York. Stop saying that. Well, that's where it happened. New York.
Okay, and your point. Next propaganda.
John says, FOMO, I'll bet you're one of those people that celebrated people murdered on trains and cried for the death of dictators. Don't lie. You had a whole box of tissues for Kalamani. James Miller says, we love you, Trump. Heart. Welcome, James. Come on in, hit that subscribe button. Debbie says, I only ever sucked one, in case anyone was wondering. Ha, ha, ha. Good to know. And James Miller says, thank God for Trump. FOMO Garage says, white power? What? Obviously, I can't take a joke. That's not what that symbol means. I know, you moron. The fact you even said that is sick. You're a racist. Well, ask my black friends if I'm racist. John says, the reason I said bailed in Britain, we don't have bond. You were put on bail to find out if the CPS has enough evidence against you. Right on. I hear you. That's understandable. That's an easy thing to make a mistake on. And it's basically the same thing. Just one of them you're in jail and one of them you're outside of jail. John says, Debbie, you know what they say about that, right? Build 1,000 bridges and never in your life be called a bridge builder, but suck one pecker and you're a pecker sucker. I think it's F1 goat, but same deal. Yeah. James Miller says, we love you, Ice Heart. Well, James is coming with the love. Debbie says, John, then that makes me a cocksucker, and I'm okay with that. John says, yeah, it's a joke. I heard it on a movie, Boondock Saints. Right on. Or I think that's the movie. It probably is. That sounds right. I've seen that movie once, and I think that was in it, but I'm not sure either. James says, you're keeping it real. Keep up the great work. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. I'm trying. FOMO Garage says, he brought a gun without an ID, maybe. Are you talking about Pretty now? But why did that have to end with a bullet in his head? Because that gun that he brought went off during an ICE investigation that he was interfering with, and made himself a target. And when that gun went off, they assumed he was shooting at them, so they shot back. And they are more accurate. That's why. Do you not understand how things happen? That happened. I don't get how you justify that. I never justified it. When he never even brandished his weapon, watch the videos. I have watched the videos. And he did reach for his weapon, and it went off while it was still in his holster. And they shot him because you don't shoot a gun in an investigation with armed police doing their rightfully governed jobs that you're interfering with. You don't do that.
Now, if he would have laid down and put his hands out, then nothing would have happened to him. He'd have been fine.
Correct.
But no, he wanted to fight them, caused his gun to go off. They found 2 magazines on him, which they found before the gun went off. So they thought that there was another gun, so they shot him when the gun went off.
Right.
Justifiable. Not right, but justifiable.
Debbie says, John, I knew that, and that is why I went along with it. It's funny. She knew you were joking. You know, we knew you weren't calling anybody that seriously. And John says, I just wanted to make sure. John, you're always welcome here. You know that. Somebody just took my white power comment seriously, so I feel you. And John says, I was so used to being bailed out myself back in Britain. Back in the day. Right on. Chevalier Leon says, Chevelle, pronounced like the car, and Yvonne. Chevelle Yvonne. Got it. I like Chevalier better. So that's who you are to me. But I love you. Hit that subscribe button. Muggy says, how about some nah, politics suck? Yeah, they do. I agree with that. But that's what we're talking about tonight, so that's why it's called Politi-tics. Get with the program. You're all Politi-tics. John says only leftists would jump on Team Islam despite Islam stealing all their main points in their Quran from Christians and Jews' Old Testament. Muhammad the Prophet was ignorant, couldn't read or write. And also a few other things. Apparently he got plowed by a bunch of randy desert dwellers and then went home and cried about it to his buddy and then married a 9-year-old. That's in the book. Debbie says, well, Monkey, it's politics night, so my chat jumped. Hang on.
1040.
1040, thank you.
Judy's comment.
So what do you expect? Ha ha ha. Right. Judy says, hey, John. Monkey says, I could go all night, Debbie, just trying to smooth the situation. I'd be willing to bet you need Viagra. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second. I think you'd last 9 seconds and stop. And then go to sleep.
Debbie'd wear that ass out.
In a heartbeat. John says Islam came 600 years after Christianity from a man who couldn't read or write and was listening to Christians and Jews in Mecca, so he came up with a grift and began sharing parts of both faiths. Sort of, yeah. There's a little more to it than that, and he was pushed by a pope. But, yeah. Debbie says, Monkey, that is what the ladies at the swap meet say, too. You can go all night. Monkey says, hey, Debbie, how old are you? Why does that got to do with it? You never ask a woman how old she is. What's wrong with you? Chivalry much? Let's go, Debbie. You a Florida redneck? Oh, no. Debbie says, Monkey, Methuselah was my younger sibling. Old. John says he used hatred for Christians and Jewish money lenders in Medina to build his faith, which is why Islam is based on hatred to this day. Monkey Juice says, hey, Debbie, the strip joint closes at 1 a.m. Debbie says, no, Monkey. I was born in Missouri, the show me state. You know, show me yours and I'll laugh. I've lived in Kansas, California, Iowa, Michigan, and now I'm back in Missouri. You know, the show me state. Show me yours and I'll laugh. FOMO Garage says, yeah, now he is making a way for them. After, for the last year, MAGA has said out with them. What?
Out with them all, but now all of a sudden MAGA wants them to stay because Trump releases how badly his plan affected farms. No, it didn't.
Yeah. I don't think you've talked to any farmers.
Wow.
Yeah, I live in a farm state. Farmers are all around me, and they're all driving brand new trucks, and they all have brand new tractors, and they all have a lot of money. I promise you, they're not hating on Trump. John says, I don't even see Monkey. Richard Duggins is Monkey Juice. Monkey Juice says, please, Amanda tried to make peace. Amanda, did you try to make peace?
No, I told him to stop. Don't be disrespectful, or I'd throw him out.
Right, don't be disrespectful.
They got it.
Okay. Debbie says, Monkey, I don't work there anymore. I work the corner with your mama.
Damn it, man.
Hey, FOMO Garage, I'm going to smoke this one without a filter in your honor.
Keep
bitter taste between my lips. That's how I feel about you.
Keep messing with him, he'll pull out the pipe.
Damn right. Don't make me get all Sherlock Holmes on your ass.
And you really want to mess with him, he'll bust out the vape, too.
I'll do both at the same time.
I second that.
How you like them apples? Amanda says, John, Monkey's Richard.
Yeah, John, Monkey's Richard.
Yeah, you say that. John says, I stand corrected. The other night, the son of the head of the Iranian regime was taken out.
Yes.
I thought he would. I wasn't sure. I knew he was named, the son of the Ayatollah Khomeini. I knew he was named leader, but I thought they knocked him out just as quick as he took power. But I wasn't sure. So neither one of us had that one exactly in the bucket. You know what I mean? But I think anybody that takes that position is going to get swiped pretty quickly. John says, oh, Monkey getting bold. His real name, right? Maybe liberals can have a pair, says John. Yeah, they just don't keep them on them. I got a pair of liberals right here. Mine are steel. And John says, everybody loves mamas. And Monkey says, hey, John, you have my wrench. I've been here longer than you. I don't give wrenches because of time. I give wrenches because of trust. Something you should think about. Only kidding, man.
And no, Monkey, John acts right. John acts like he's got sense.
Yeah, it's not a seniority thing. You have been here longer, and you are welcomed here, which is what buys you some latitude when you run your mouth. That same gift does not go to everyone. Some people, when they run their mouth, they get booted out immediately. As long as you stay in the lines, you can color however you want to. And maybe if you ever get trustworthy and I can count on you, you'll get that wrench. But I don't think he has a wrench. I think he has a badge.
No, he's got a wrench.
Does he?
No, he does. Oh, yeah, he's got a wrench. He's
Okay.
blue.
Yeah. Okay. That was my broke cigarette. I had to do something with it. John says, you can have it, Monkey. The question is, will anyone give it to you?
Hell no, John. LOL.
Yeah, Monkey, if you want that wrench, you need to be here every show. Starting today. And maybe become a member if you feel froggy. Maybe donate once or twice. That'll get you a wrench.
Maybe.
Being trustworthy. Maybe. Monkey says, you mean he acts right? I do mean that. Right and right. But no, I have wrenches that are left also. This isn't a biased program. I have lots of friends who are Democrats, and I disagree with them vehemently, but they are my friends.
I'll say Fab Daddy has a wrench.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fab Daddy's had a wrench for a long time.
And Debbie says, I like politics night. I like to get my politickled. Amen, sister. I like it too. It's a little uncomfortable at times, but it's necessary. As I said the other night, the whole point is to build discourse because that's something we've lost in this country and we need it back. How can you ever solve a problem if you can't discuss it? If everybody is so far in their corner that they can't come to the middle, we've lost. There's no point. Might as well go back to throwing sticks at each other and rocks. So we need discourse. It is an important function of this show, and I hope you all get behind it. I hope you all understand the reason for it. I'm not just yelling for the sake of yelling. I'm trying to teach people how to think, not what to think.
And to do some research, damn it.
John says, I might be a bit more animated tonight than usual. I don't mean any disrespect to the spirit of the channel. I hear you. Or I don't mean, doesn't mean I disrespect the spirit of the channel. No, I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that at all, John. You're a good dude. Amy says, sneaks back into chat and hopes no one notices she fell asleep. No one noticed. Debbie says, your chat's going to jump. I know.
10:35 or 10:53.
10:53.
Woohoo, we're almost at the bottom. It's 11 o'clock.
Debbie says, just an observation about Islam. To them, Epstein Island would be a vacation spot. Lots of virgins. Yep. Amy says, smoking hot. Thank you. Appreciate that. Wait, what? John says, good night, Muggy. Your evening ritual is half complete. Jake Johnson already took care of the spanking part.
Damn it, man.
Damn it, man. Did Muggy leave?
I don't know. Maybe.
John says, Muggy, you got to be a member as well. That helps. Debbie says, sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me.
Yeah.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but there'll always be something to insult a feminist. And Debbie says, so don't throw a stick at me. Bring chains. Amen, sister. Amy says, good night, y'all. I'm exhausted. My first night off in 2 weeks. Well, you enjoy that night off, Amy. Thank you for being here, honey. I'm going to bed, too.
Night, Amy.
I love you all very much. And Judy says, LOL, Debbie, and good night, Amy. Thank you all for being part of the politics tonight. Thank you for your very passionate perspectives and your ideas and your thoughts. Thank you for arguing in good faith. Thank you for not showing your tail. And thank you for staying on point, on topic, and in debate. We'll see you next Saturday for some more politicking, and we'll political each other to death then. Have a great night. God bless you all. I'll see you tomorrow night for Bible study. Be there. Thanks for watching.
Night, all.